Hello, Mean Cat here, and welcome to another video. In this video, I'm going to be designing an OC based off of the My Little Pony character Twilight Sparkle. Originally, this idea started as me following a trend here on YouTube of people redesigning the Equestria Girls, and every now and again also rewriting the story a little bit. However, that idea kind of fell through the cracks a little bit because I kind of hit a few roadblocks along the way. You see, I started with the rewrite, which would include not just the movies, but also the very short-lived Equestria Girls show that I used to love to watch as well. It started pretty good. I decided on an early college setting since I love how in the show they are adults. And don't get me wrong, I love the Equestria Girls we got, but I do agree with the criticism that turning an entire continent into a high school was not the best move. There's just too many moving parts for it to work like that long term. You know? Such as their jobs. Rudy has her own clothing store, for crying out loud. That girl is like the epitome of girl boss, or whatever kids are saying these days. Now, this means I would have to assign everybody human world jobs appropriate to like their education level, likes, etc, etc. But most of the main six already have pretty easily transferable jobs, except maybe like Twilight and Rainbow Dash. But since I kind of stopped with this whole rewrite idea, I don't really have to worry about that. Maybe another time, you know. The brainstorming got decently far until I have to like replace prom, so that's how I ended up here, in a completely different setting, where it's like very removed from the ponies, but I'm still like pulling lots of inspiration from it for like the characters, some storylines, you know, all that fun stuff. Now, I started using the main six and the world of My Little Pony to expand on my world, which I basically just said. But you see, I haven't said what my world is. As you can see, my character, very human-y. Not actually human. My world is basically full of half human, half animal beings I like to call demi-humans. And since this was after like an apocalypse where humans went extinct, I had it be a world of like steampunk tech with like magic thrown in, because I love the idea of mixing magic and tech, like a lot. Granted, now the steampunk parts are basically non-existent, overpowered by the magic, but I can still have the steampunk tech, just won't focus on that. After all, I am determined to keep the steampunk vibes, since I really, really like steampunk. And just want one thing, just one, to be steampunky. Because everything else I have is like modern or fantasy. You know, if you just look at everything else I have in my account. Anyway, since the Equestria Girls redesign was kind of thrown out the window, I just designed an OC based on Twilight. I wanted the same character idea of a magical unicorn who is the apprentice to a powerful royal that has no friends, overthinks, and is a workaholic, and so on and so forth. But still different enough from Twilight so I can call her mine. Who, by the way, I'm going to call Demi Twilight until I can give her an actual name, so that we can differentiate her from Pony Twilight. Same thing for any other character that I've based on a pony from the show. Okay, so now that we got that little tidbit out of the way, back to the OC. She is not nearly as social as the pony Twilight Sparkle, who is already not very social as it is. But instead of just whenever she's solo, I want my Demi Twilight to be like a hardcore introvert. Like, her social battery is very small, barely existent. Like, even around her friends, it's not that big. which this little thing is going to be like the biggest personality difference, if I'm being really honest here. But can you blame me? Twilight's a very interesting character. I love her. Now, as for her appearance, which y'all will easily see in the video. I don't know when, maybe it's now, maybe it's later. You'll see it, but I'll just explain it a little bit, then go into other things, you know. Demi Twilight is still gonna have her straight hair. Y'all see that in the sketch, in the line art. But I'm basing her colors off of dusk, aka the time of day. I didn't get rid of her purples and pinks completely, but blue is for sure going to be her dominant color here, as I am still trying to make her not just look like a Twilight sparkle as a demi-human, even though that's kind of what she is in the moment. But the very different, I don't know if it's that different, this very different look will come in handy for whenever I actually branch off more from Twilight Sparkle's whole deal, you know, story-wise and all that. And speaking of the story, I'm changing up why she leaves her home near her mentor, as well as some other stuff. Demi Twilight is still going to be a bookworm, but she is a recently graduated magic user who is just freaking out about being on her own with like no classes to shape her day. And instead of freaking out of like seeing signs of the coming apocalypse like in the show, just good old overthinking and having no idea about her future. Lots of young adults can probably relate to that, I'm sure. I know I do. Demi Twilight gets sent to a small town by her mentor, Demi Celestia, as she saw her students stressing out about her future. So that she thought this would be like a good way to help her chill out, maybe get an idea of what to do with this little mission, which is to gather samples and other such things from like the environment there, which is dying for some reason. I have not figured out why or gone further than that. Just to let y'all know. I'm basically changing up pony storylines, but still have them be quite similar. Now, I haven't written anything, so nothing is truly concrete. I just wanted to think of stuff for the character to, you know, get a feel for her, which coincidentally involves a little bit of actions and adventures I might want her to go on. I am using a lot of the premises in the show, and I don't know exactly if I've made them different enough to be able to call them my own, so all this stuff is just going to be a whip and all that forever until an unknown time in the future. I don't know. Maybe it'll just stay as a thinking thing forever. You never know. But I have vague ideas for Demi Celestia and the other main six in this, but I'm probably just going to do a little fiddling around whenever I need a break from like all my other stuff, because I have a lot of fan-made AUs and another story and fan fictions that I like to write whenever I'm taking a break from my webcomic, and now this is just going to be added to that long list. So there's no guarantee when or if I'll even make another video on this, especially if I'm the only one interested in it. So no guarantee I'm gonna be in a hurry to continue brainstorming. But you never know. Like I keep repeating at the end of this video, you never know. But I do appreciate anyone that has been watching this long or interested in this idea of mine. I had fun making this video, and in general, brainstorming for this old forgotten world of mine was very fun. And I hope to see y'all in the next video of mine. Bye bye!